Hello. Welcome back to a brand new episode of 343. My name is AF, and this is a preview episode of sorts for the Euro 2024. And yeah, once again, like last week, we'll get into some noteworthy transfer stories as well. But yeah, joining me today, I have Mubeen and Riyaz once again. How are you guys doing?
Good from our side.
Yeah, not too bad. It's getting a bit colder, so trying to keep warm. But other than that, it's pretty good. Not too bad.
I thought you were going to say you're a bit calm this week because you know that we're not going to be treading over any like rough waters or anything like that this week. Hopefully,
There's always potential for that, so I'm never easy about that situation.
yeah. A couple of our clips from last week made its way around TikTok, and yeah, people aren't happy. The Arsenal fans aren't happy. So
Expected
yeah,
though.
if you haven't watched last week's one and you are an Arsenal fan and you really want to get upset, then maybe give it a watch. Um, if you are not an Arsenal fan, then definitely give it a watch because I don't know if you will probably join in with the banter, but yeah, it was definitely a raucous episode, if you can put it that way. But yeah, that's not why we're here today. We are here to get down to business and speak about the Euros. We're here to speak about some transfer stories. And I think, Mubin, let's start off with you. I know that you are very keen about this one.
Jeremy Frimpong, potential move to Barcelona. So that one has come on the radar sort of last 24 hours with a lowball offer. I think Leverkusen obviously rate him around 50 million, 55 million euros. Barcelona's lowballed it with around 24, 25, which is sort of half. And we all know why. They don't have money, and they
They probably
obviously,
have to pull like another lever or something for that. Like
yeah.
the 100th lever or something.
So I don't know how this is going to pan out in the first place, considering the situation. But I mean, obviously, Ansi being in charge, and I think he wants to rebuild, and I think Frimpong he himself said he wants him at the back as a wing back to build around the defense with him. So still, I mean, Frimpong's obviously, I don't see it happening personally. Again, considering Barcelona's situation, and if I was in Frimpong's shoes, I mean, I've with Leverkusen had a stellar season. Um, I wouldn't make a move to Barcelona just yet. I think it would be a move in the wrong direction in terms of a club of where Barcelona is currently. Um, I'd hold out if there's another club coming, or even consider staying another season at Leverkusen. But time will tell. There is an offer on the table, like I said, a lowball offer. And I don't see Leverkusen accepting that amount of money for their star wing back.
Yeah, I think if anything, Leverkusen will probably wait until the Euros are done, or until Netherlands is done with their Euros campaign, because that could raise his price like infinitely as well. He is in the Netherlands squad, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Correct, yeah.
pretty sure I saw that. Yeah. So yeah, like I think that would be smart from them. I doubt they make a decision anytime soon on that. Riaz, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean that 25 million is a ridiculous amount of money. I mean, I understand that they can't really afford much more than that because of the financial issues and things like that. but that is that is way too low. And like Mubeen said, I fully agree with him. I mean, if I was him, if I was Frimpong, you might as well wait another season to see where other teams land, because your team is doing very well at the moment. The team together, as long as they don't lose any important players like himself, I think there's no reason why they can't go on next season and do a very similar, not obviously go invincible, but at least win the Bundesliga. So I think staying one more season for him would be a good idea. But for Leverkusen as well, I think 60 is a fair price because he's young, he's up and coming, and like you said, AF as well. If he has a good Euros, anything could happen. I think he's behind Dumfries though in that wing back role at the moment.
Yeah.
Um, Williams. So he might not play
I,
all the.
I think he should actually be first choice, to be honest. I think he's a more well-rounded player, and he's like we spoke last week about like the England right back position and who we should start at England's right back: Kyle Walker, Trent Alexander-Arnold, like Kieran Trippier, all of these guys. But in the same way that we said that Kyle Walker is equally good both attacking and defending. I think Frimpong falls into that same bracket, whereas Dumfries, he isn't that great um, going forward. I think his defending is amazing, but I think going forward he's not as strong as Frimpong,
Yeah,
and
and then
I think that just edges him.
yeah, but that's also where they kind of lose the creativity as well. Like you said, going forward, he's not as good as Frimpong is, and
Yeah,
that's where I don't want to get into a Netherlands preview here, but that's kind of where they find issues, and that's kind of the creativity going forward. But where Frimpong's concerned, I think he's going to be a great scoop for anybody who's going to come in for him. But Leverkusen shouldn't accept less than, I guess, 50, and he shouldn't want to go anywhere that's kind of not going to win him a title in the next season, because I feel like Leverkusen is at least going to win one title next season, whether it be a cup or it be the league. So it could go either way for him, I guess.
yeah, no, definitely one to watch. Another one that's one to watch, Riaz.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Personally, I would love this player. Personally, I think that even though we have a decent six, I think that an out and out six would be great to help us with our defensive situation or defensive fragility. And I think that a lot of teams would bite their armor for a chance to sign this fella. And at the moment, it's just three teams. Once again, Barcelona is involved, which I don't think that that's a possibility, because I don't think he's going to cost less than 50 million again. And Bayern Munich are currently the ones in kind of in the are favorites to sign him. But they went in with a 30 million offer to Fulham for João Palhinha, and I think Fulham wants 60 or up, at least double 30 they said. So which is fair in my opinion as well, because he's the best. Okay, second best. Okay, wait, third best six in the league. I had to think there for a second. I had to go through
Behind you, behind you.
Rodri and Declan. Behind Rodri and Declan. I think the two of them are just better than him, but. Definitely the third best six in the league. He's off the ball play, and his tackling is amazing. Like, he gives great defensive um, defensive plays for his team, and that's super important. Breaking up the play, intercepting, and he's not as bad going forward either. He scored some amazing goals. He's not really productive going forward, but that's not what you need from a six. And Fulham has done really well this season, and that's mostly down to him as well.
Yeah.
Anthony Robertson as well, and maybe Rodrigo Muniz. He came good. He had good form at some places, but I mean, it's mainly down to him. He's their main player, and I think United are also in for him. So because obviously Casemiro is now old, I guess, or they want to sell him to Saudi and try to get some money for it. I think that would be a good idea as well, because letting him go on a free like they did with Varane, I think is missing. They're going to be missing out, because Saudi's going to pay. They don't mind paying the big bucks for the older players. So I think if a big bid comes in for Casemiro, I think United will love to go and get João Palhinha. I think it will also help them in their kind of going forward in their issues that they had this season, where there was a massive gap between the midfield and the defense. So I think a player like Palhinha will help United as well tenfold. But I think Fulham will definitely want 50 to 60 million minimum for that kind of a player.
Yeah. Look, I think like Bayern's been interested in him since last year already. I think
Yeah,
they tried to sign him last year, and then I think it went as late as like the final 2 or 3 days of the transfer window, and it just didn't pan out. And he was uh, super sad about it. I remember that whole thing that he really wanted it. Fabrizio said that he was pushing for it, and it just didn't materialize. So I think Bayern did try, but Fulham were playing hardball, and they have every right to demand what they want because they know how valuable he is and how good of a player he is. So obviously they're going to demand north of 50 million for
yeah,
this guy. I think 60 mil might be like a lot of clubs might like turn their backs on that, but I think if Fulham get a bid of 50 or higher, they are taking that
yeah,
all day, any
100%.
day.
And I think
Um,
also what you said there was just quickly. What did you start by saying? I can't remember. I wanted to make a point
that
on that.
Bayern were in
Oh
last year
yes.
as well.
So personal terms. I believe because of that, like last year, because they were talking last year as well. I think personal terms have kind of been agreed or like spoken about something like that between the player and the club. But Fulham, obviously, I think Bayern's last bid was 30 million, which is ridiculous. So the clubs still have to come to agreement.
Yeah. Mubeen, what do you think about this transfer?
Yeah, I think he's
Do you think
definitely
he comes to
moving.
United? Do you think he goes to Bayern?
Um, I would love it if he comes to United, obviously. But as far as I can see, I think he's made his mind up with Bayern. Like Riyaz said, I think personal terms are agreed already or were agreed already. Um, and I don't think it's as far back as last year. I think it was this year, January, deadline day. And I'm not sure it was Bayern. I
Uh,
can't remember the club, but his
no,
deal
it
fell through
definitely
on
was
deadline
Bayern.
day. Was it Bayern?
Yeah.
Yeah. So his deal fell through on deadline day in January. Yeah, I mean, his bags were practically packed.
Yeah.
Um, so for me, it's a definite transfer that's going to happen. And in all likelihood, I think Bayern is his destination. And yeah, I think if they get around 50, 55, they accept it, close the eyes. Um, and I think that's good value for any club that's going to spend that money in a transfer market that we know. There's always a tax here and there depending on which club you are.
Yeah.
You're
For
always
sure.
sort of paying extra than what the
Yeah.
players were sometimes. I think if a club snatches him up around 50, 55, that's good business for quality six.
Yeah, no,
Agreed.
for sure. And I mean, if he comes to United, that just segues into our next story over here. We'd need to replace this youngster, Kobe Mainoo. But I mean, when I read that story this morning, I had to look twice because I thought it was from one of those like parody uh, transfer accounts or like slow sports news or some nonsense like that. Because Barcelona made an 8.5 million euro plus Rafinha bid for Kobe Mainu. What on what planet do they think
Okay.
that is okay? That on what planet do they think that is normal? Like, what are they smoking over there? Like,
Yeah.
the people at the camp know they need to get real. I mean, they can't be living in this wonderland. I mean, we've read all of these transfer stories, and Barcelona has been involved in Palinia, in Frimpong, and now Mainu as well. Somebody needs to wake them up from this dream. I don't know what on earth they are thinking. I don't know how they think that they can offer these low sums of money and actually be successful with it. I'm pretty sure everybody at all of those three clubs that we spoke about looked at those bids or saw those reports and they just started laughing uncontrollably. Like, it's a joke. Like Mubin, Riaz, I don't know who wants to go first from the two of you, but yeah, I just had like a proper giggle this morning when I read that.
Yeah, I think that's like a case of the when it comes to Barcelona, Man United. particularly with this one. It's the case of the uh, the deaf leading the blind, or the blind leading the deaf. The one doesn't have money, and the one or not doesn't have money. They're in obviously financial restrictions, and the other, why would they want to sell one of the up and coming superstars? Just doesn't make sense. Um, and I don't think Mainoo would move right now
No chance.
after having a start like this for about a season and a half in his United career. I think he's quite young, and I don't think if he moves, he starts immediately at Barca. Whereas he's sort of a mainstay in United's midfield already. So I personally I don't see it happening. I wasn't
Man,
aware of it until you mentioned it to me this afternoon. I haven't been tracking any transfers sort of since yesterday. Um, and when I saw it, I actually burst out laughing. So no, I personally don't see it happening. And I mean, it's like you said, wouldn't I think they also come in with 8.5 million plus Rafinha, who's sort of towards the end of his career. Um, and we don't need someone in Rafinha's position.
yeah.
Um, so that in itself doesn't make sense. And if United do go for this, um, I don't know. I'll be off the channel for a long while.
Riyaz, what do you have to say?
Yeah, look, like Mubeen, I haven't interacted in a while, and you saying that right now, like 5 minutes ago, was the first I heard of it, and I also burst out laughing. That sounds ridiculous. But what I will say is that I think Barcelona like rate Rafinha as like 60, 70 million, like for some ridiculous reason, because I think in January we were tracking him, and I think they wanted, yes, 60 million or something like that, which is ridiculous. So I guess if that is what he's worth, then the offer is somewhat fair in terms of monetary value. But I mean, let's get real. Rafinha is probably worth like 30 million, and that's 38 million in total. And Kobe Mainoo is probably worth, to United specifically, he's probably worth upwards of 60, 70 million. So, and I mean, he just started his career, and like Mubeen said perfectly well, like they don't need, he's not going to start there in Barcelona. He's not going to start. There's no point
Yeah.
for him to go there, whereas he starts in at United. And that's the difference with Frimpong. If Frimpong does go, I think they have a Raucho or not a Raucho, Kunde plays right back or something like that, which is
But
still
seems like he's also on his way out anyway. So
okay. So that's even more reason for like Frimpong to go, because he's definitely going to start, I guess, in that Barcelona team. But like you said, Mainoo's not going to start.
yeah,
They have Frenkie, they have Pedri, their midfield is quite
Gavi.
decent. So
Yeah.
yeah, um,
Apparently, this instruction was given by Hansi Flick himself. Like he wants Kobe Mainoo himself.
that makes sense.
You okay? Sure, you do. Like
They
it's
can't
not gonna
afford him.
happen.
Yeah, they can't
Yeah,
afford him. So there's no point. Like, sorry, Bria, but you knew what you were getting yourself into. You're not going to be able to. But I do think that that's the best option, is to offer a player plus cash deal to get deals over the line. I think that is the best option, because it gets wages, and I guess you can offer less money. So that's probably the best option that they have going forward. But Mainoo
yeah,
is going to be a superstar, and there's no way he should leave United anytime soon, because I mean, even if Fernandes leaves, the team is going to be built around Mainoo. So at the end of the day,
yeah.
there's no reason to leave.
Hansi Flick, if you are watching this episode or listening to this podcast, can I interest you in a Scottish lad called Scott McTominay? Rumor has it that he's better than Kobe Mainoo, and maybe we can take a Frankie De Jong plus 8.5 million for
Oh
him.
goodness
We
me!
would
Don't
we
make
would
me
take
laugh.
it. I can guarantee you.
Obviously, I was going to ask you actually, if you want to give Scott McTominay, like who would you want in return? And then you said Frankie De Jong. Are you crazy? That
I
is
I
so
um I
expensive.
would I would encourage the both of you to go and look at our esteemed United States guest, John Shin,
Mm.
to go and look at his rant with regards to McTominay and who was the second player?
Oh,
Um,
it was Wan Bissaka and
Wan
Scott
Bissaka and
McTominay
McTominay.
for
I think it's
25 million.
someone offered 21 million and he just
Yeah.
absolutely lost it. 21 million for the both of them. Um, so Riaz, just go and have a look. Look at that post of his. It's a good
I'll go
chuckle.
check it out. I'll definitely go check it
Yeah,
out.
who knows? Maybe Barcelona's like, okay, Real Madrid, they got Jude. Let us get Mainoo. Then we'll each have one English player. Okay, let's do that. Up and coming English players.
How much would you
Yeah, it
take?
doesn't work like that.
How much would you take, if
For
anything?
For
McTominay,
Kobe,
No, for
for
Kobe.
Kobe,
Not for McTominay. I'll give you a
no
piece of
chance.
candy for McTominay.
Priceless, priceless. I wouldn't accept anything.
no,
Okay.
yeah, it's a
No chance.
non-negotiable. He cannot
Yeah,
leave.
Okay. Fair enough. That's
He's the
fair enough.
guy that our midfield needs to be rebuilt around. I
Yeah.
mean,
yeah,
he's the future.
hundreds.
Fair
So
enough.
Cool. Yeah. If you guys don't have anything else to add for the transfer segment, then we can move on to previewing another round of teams for the Euros. And first up,
If,
we have Belgium
before we go, AF, I just want to ask something. When does this start exactly? Because people are telling me it starts tomorrow,
on
but it starts on Friday.
Friday,
I think.
isn't it?
Okay.
Friday,
I think it's Friday.
Okay. Good. Good. Just
Friday.
making sure. Just
Friday,
making sure.
14th June, Germany vs Scotland.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So Belgium, let's go.
Um, the reason why I chose to cover them is, albeit let's look the golden era of players and stars. Most of them are done, not featuring in the squad. But there's still good enough quality in the team to make them. I wouldn't say a dark horse, but they might pull off an upset. Um, Look, there's still enough quality. They have De Bruyne, they got Trossard, they got Amadou Nana, who's had a good season. I as disappointing as Lukaku can be most times, he's still a quality player. I've always rated a guy like Yannick Carrasco, and they've Jeremy Docker as well. So, like I said, there's still enough quality in the squad um, to pull up an upset and maybe if they get to a quarterfinal or semi-final, anything can happen. I mean, I always say in a cup, anything can happen on its day. Um, so yeah, and I think they're playing now. There's no sort of expectation on them, whereas maybe in the previous, let's say, the last 8 years or so, they're obviously touted as favourites in the Euro or World Cup because of the squad. So I think that chip is off their shoulder right now. So they just need to go out and play and let's see where they land up.
Yeah, no, like I was having a skim through the squad and I noticed one player that Riyaz will be very familiar with, and that is 37-year-old Jan Vertonghen
Tongan, yeah.
pulling up for the Red Devils at the Euros in 2024. And yeah, I mean, experience like that is going to be beneficial to them because it's a fairly young squad. Like you mentioned, you have Jeremy Daku, very flary player. You have Oral Mangala as well, a really good player as well. Amadou Onana, you mentioned. So there are a lot of like young players that's coming to this squad, and like you mentioned, it's probably that sort of monkey that's off their back, or like the expectation isn't there anymore. So they have the freedom to play the way they want to, and they like there's nothing really, no dark cloud hanging over the head anymore. Riaz, what do you think about this Belgium team and their hopes for Euro?
Yeah, oddly enough, I think that they have a good side. Like it's not like even though the golden era has kind of passed them by as the golden era, I guess, as they like to say. I still think that their side is good enough to win any game. They can go up against France tomorrow and they could win the game because of the quality that they have. It's the impact players that they have that makes all the difference. Even though the team is currently not as good as it used to be. I mean, you have Kevin De Bruyne in the team that
Yeah,
is the best midfielder in the league. So with that, you can literally at any point in time you can unlock a defense, no matter who you're playing against. And I think the only issue that they're going to find is, like you said, they have the 37-year-old Jan Vertonghen and Super Jan, um, who might not start every game, but I think
yeah,
that's where they kind of have issues is at the back, where they have Wout Fast from Leicester and
yeah.
That's
and
funny,
And
eh?
they don't have Courtois. Eh?
yeah,
Courtois didn't make the squad, so
yeah.
No.
So that's very interesting as well. I think Castagna is one of the strongest defenders that they have actually, because I think Munier is also old now. So is Toby, and so all of them are kind of getting on.
yeah,
Um, I think Axel Witsel is now a defender for some reason. I think he plays there for his club or something like
yeah.
that.
But he's isn't he like 36 as well?
Yeah,
So
He's about 36,
he's
yeah.
he's
So
also got like some
him and
strength.
Vertonghen is sort of the elder statesman of the team.
Yeah,
yeah,
Munir is sort of, oh, I think he's around the 32-year-old mark.
mm,
So not that old. But yeah, like you said, I think the defense could potentially be the undoing of them
mm,
in terms of maybe not being as experienced. But who knows? I think they should get out of their group unscathed at least.
yeah.
Um, I think they've got Romania and Slovakia. I think Ukraine probably the tougher game out of the three,
Yeah,
but they should get out of the group. And yeah,
that's it's going to be such an interesting because like we said now anybody can beat anybody else, so it's going to be such an interesting tournament for like to see who kind of wins or pitches up on the day. But yeah, Belgium, I think Lukaku as well can pitch up at any point in time. But I think that Kevin De Bruyne is going to have a ridiculous tournament. So with him on the field, and like you said, they have Trossard, who is probably one of the most informed wingers towards the end of the
yeah.
Premier League. He
He's
just scores all the time.
been scoring clutch goals for Arsenal all season. So
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
cool. And then yeah, we'll move on to our next team, and that will be me, my guys. Haven't won a major trophy since 2012. So 12 years on. It's time, guys.
Well,
We need to pull up our socks. We need to throw that memory of 5-0 against Netherlands in 2014 out the window. Forget about it completely. And yeah, but yeah, in all seriousness, yeah, I think the Spanish squad is one of the strongest squads in the Euros. Um, I don't really want to jinx him that much by overhyping him. But yeah, like I mean, all the way from right at the back. I'm hoping that David Raya would start in goal. I'm really not a fan of Unai Simon. I think
same,
that he has. Sorry.
same.
Uh, um, yeah, he has a lot of shortfalls for me, and David Raya is a more well-rounded goalkeeper. At the back as well, they have a luxury of choices. Laporte, Carval, Cucurella's there, but I think he's just there to fill up spaces. I don't think he's really gonna get game time. I think Grimaldo would probably start at left back. Um, but yeah, and Robert Lenormand, I'm a huge fan of him. I think he's a really good ball playing centre back. So I'm quite excited to see who he actually gets paired with during the World Cup. It would probably be Laporte, but you never know. Yeah, and then like going into midfield of Rodri and Pedri and Mikel Merino, um, you have Ferran Torres up front. Somebody that I'm like really happy to see having a proper run in the Spain team lately is Ayoze Perez, and that's like the guy was so he was so good at Leicester, and
Yeah,
he just always got the short end, and that's because of the players that were always ahead of him at that time. So now he's sort of a senior player in the team, which is crazy to think, because like what is time? But yeah, it's nice to see him making the squad, and I hope he gets a run. But there is a kid by the name of Lamine Yamal
yeah,
from Barcelona. He's taken the world by storm, and
This
there's
guy
no
is
chance that,
16.
yeah,
yeah.
there's no chance he doesn't start all the games. Like this guy is generational. He is amazing. I don't know if you guys have watched him play it,
Yeah,
but yo, it's such a gift to watch him play.
it's crazy
And I see
actually.
you got a young Jesus Navas still in the squad
Yeah,
at 38.
yeah. We need every. I think every team needs that elder statesman, like you put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy actually, but I think Spain for the three that we're discussing tonight have the most difficult group. Um, the group stage for them I think is going to be the most
Yeah,
difficult. They have Croatia, Italy, and Albania. Croatia just beat Portugal, who are favorites or one of the favorites to win this Euro or lot. So it's going to be difficult to in the group stages, but I assume all three of them will make it through to knockouts. The third team going obviously through because of most points or something. I think that's how it works. But yeah, I think I'm very excited to watch Lamine Yamal more. He's super exciting. He's a phenomenal talent, and it's going to be really good to watch him. I think watching Morata still pains me because he's still like much of a muchness when watching Morata. He doesn't do much for me. But like you said, the midfield there, the wingers that you've got, and even the defense is really good, and it's well rounded. So they are a team to be reckoned with, but I think it's going to be really difficult once they get out of the group to get into the knockouts, to kind of keep the form going because you've played so much tough games in the groups already. It might serve them
yeah,
well, but I think it's going to be tough on the brain to after playing so many difficult group games to go through and kind of get far in the knockouts as well.
yeah. I mean, and like they have such um great depth as well up front. They have Wasalu, um, Danny Olmo, Nico Williams, Oyazabal. So I mean, like that's not just like average players. Those are really good players.
Can I ask you
That
something? Was Oyazabal not a right back at some point, and now he's a striker apparently?
no, he's a winger. He's been a
Oh,
winger.
he's a winger. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought for Madrid he used to play at right back, but anyways,
Oh, he might have probably like when he just started. Like
yeah,
I don't
like Gareth
recall.
Bale's pick
Yeah.
moving to wing.
Mubin, what do you have any thoughts on Spain before we finish off?
Not just my 2 cents worth. Obviously, Spain has always been a quality team, a team you can't write off. And I think right now, looking at the squad as we're going through it, there's a nice sort of blend of youth and experience. And again, a team probably that's going to play or go into the tournament without a chip on the shoulder. Um, so again, all to play for, and like Riyaz said, they're probably in one of the most difficult groups. So I think the first task is to make sure they get out of the group, um, and then obviously take it from there. It's going to be a tough group with Italy and Croatia. So I think the first order of business is to make sure they get out of the group.
Yeah, no, sounds good. But I hope they just see Italy off, and I hope that's the biggest of their worries. And I know you mentioned like Croatia beat Portugal and all of that, but I'm hoping Modric has an off day that day, and he forgets how to pull the strings in that midfield. So it should be okay. I'm hoping. He hopes.
I think they'll finish top the group. To be honest with you, I think they'll top the group.
From your words to the football gods' ears. And we move on to our final team. Riaz, what do you have for us?
Yeah, I guess the percentage odds I think are to win the competition. The biggest favorites that there are so far. Before a game is played, they have a reasonably easy group as well. Um, like they should win the group. They have Netherlands in the group, but I mean Netherlands are up and down. Austria as well have been playing really well, and Poland. So, but they should they should win the group, world champions and whatnot. Their squad is interesting. There's obviously it's very strong. Um, I'll come on to like two of the weaknesses that I kind of see in the end. But I mean, when Wilfried Saliba, when William Saliba is on the bench, when he's not a starter in the team, then you know that there's some sort of like the team is ridiculously good. Because I would start him personally because I don't really rate Upamecano or Konate as high as I rate Saliba. But I think they will start both of them, Upamecano and Konate. Um, and then the midfielders, like we've already mentioned, it's so important to have kind of a blend of the elder statesmen, the experience, and the youngsters. So they have Kamavinga and Chouameni obviously in there, but they also pick Griezmann, which is I love watching Griezmann play. I think he's even though he's like I guess fairly rated, I think he's still underrated. I love the way that he plays, and he's kind of adapted his style of play to the kind of the team that he plays for. And they of course have the 18-year-old wonder kid Zaire Emery, who at the
Oh, I
moment
love that.
everybody rates very highly, very highly. My jury's still out on him. I'll be honest. He's blows hot and cold for me at the moment, but he's 18, so he has lots of time. Lots of time
You
to
know,
kind of.
so this might be a hot take, but he reminds me a lot of how Hatem bin Arfa used to be.
Okay, fair.
And like that, you would be like absolutely world class on one day, and then the next day he just like it's just an average
Shite.
performance. Um, and I'm hope like he's still young enough for him to change
Yeah.
that around and actually be consistent. And we've spoken about a certain United player as well, who 7 years later still hasn't learned that and he's still not consistent. So I'm hoping that an 18-year-old will be able to just make sure that he fulfills the potential that has been gifted to him.
Yeah, I think that player that you were talking about, I'm not going to mention his name, but he needs to be sold this summer. In any case,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think Kamavinga and Kante is obviously back as well. Big recall for N'Golo Kante, which is going to be really cool to see.
Does he fall
So
into the elder statement
yeah, he's
sort
33.
of
He's sort of
category?
on the border. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
At
I think
33.
I think in experience he's kind of elder statement because it feels like he's been around for
yeah.
ages. But yeah, he's only 3, and that boy's a machine, so we know he's going to be able to run till he's probably like 50.
Yeah.
But so yeah, so Kamavinga, Chouameni, Kante, and Griezmann, a good kind of mixture there. And in the forwards, they have my favorite striker, maybe not of all time, but one of my favorite strikers of all time is Olivier Giroud,
OG.
37-year-old OG man. He might not start, obviously, but I hope he does because I think he's one of the most underrated strikers that has ever played the game. I love him to bits. And then, of course, you have Kylian Mbappe, who I don't really like, but okay, he's one of the best wingers in the world. Ousmane Dembele, the fragile Ousmane Dembele, who if you blow a wind at him, he might fall over and break his ankle or something. And then, of course, the youngster Bakula, who was get a really good
Did
season for PSG.
did Usman Dembele make the squad?
Yep.
It says that, yeah. It does say that he made the squad.
Did he?
Dembele,
I don't know why.
Tolo Muani,
I
Marcus
feel like
Thuram,
I saw
and Coman.
something that he wasn't in the squad. Okay, maybe
No,
it
he
And
was
made
that's
it.
and that's the
incorrect.
firepower. I mean, the
Yeah,
the, the firepower up front is it's ridiculously good. The
yeah,
two areas that I think is a bit of an issue is the goalkeeper. I don't really rate Mike Maignan. I'll be honest. He's a good keeper. I just don't think he's like a Unai Simon, and they need a David
yeah.
Daya basically. So and the backup is Areola as well and Samba.
But I
So
mean, would you rather Manyan or would you rather Hugo Lloris? So I mean,
Yo, Manian all day long.
exactly.
Keep
So
Hugo
I
Lloris
don't
away.
think France really minds the
That's true.
goalkeepers at their disposal right now,
That's true.
because if Hugo Lloris didn't retire from international football, then
Yeah.
chances are he would have probably been right there
Captaining the
with the
French
group.
team.
Yeah,
Look, the French team that he's won the World Cup with as well. So he's the World Cup winning captain. I mean, I don't know how
sure.
he's lucked his way into these things, but these T-Rex arms, and he's like a Jordan Pickford but smaller, which is crazy to
Yeah,
think about. And then the second issue that I see here in this team is kind of a right back issue. Whereas I think on that right there might be a bit, because like I said earlier, Jules Koundé for me is not a right back. They play him there, but
yeah,
he's like Ezri Konsa, but I rate Ezri Konsa better than Jules Koundé for some reason. But I do think that Pavard is also there, but he's slow. They can get at him
yeah,
easily. I think one-on-one he can be beaten. So if you have players like who's the left wing for Portugal, Rafael Leao. If you have Rafael Leao running up that left-hand side, then he's going to bypass Koundé and he's going to bypass Pavard easily. So I think those
yeah.
two kind of areas are kind of places where people can get at them, but still, I think the favourites to win this competition for sure.
Oh, Mubeen, anything that you
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to add
I
in
agree with
before we?
Riyaz's sentiments there. I think after my team, the Three Lions, um, France are the favorites. And sorry, we just ran through
Yeah,
that
you
squad.
couldn't even say that with a straight face, by the way.
Nah, I mean you got a midfield of Kamavinga, Shamini, Kante, Rabiot. I mean, those are four world class central midfielders. And I mean, we ran through the forwards now. Um, I mean, you got guys like Mbappe, Dembele, Moani, Thuram, Coman, Bakola. Um, you don't really get better than that. So again, favorites probably to win the tournament. And only again, time will tell. It's a tournament, it's a cup, and anything can happen. I always preach this, so we'll have to wait and see. I tipped him to get to the semis.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You say it's coming home.
I said that last Euros, and then it didn't come home. So we'll see. I
Looking at the
didn't
last
make
year.
it on last week's segment, but I wanted to cover England, and so I think if they don't win it, then I think Southgate's time is up. So
I think it's up anyways. I think this is
anyway,
his
yeah,
last sort of event that he's
Ura,
going to be covering
yeah,
for England, and
okay.
then he's apparently linked with
Before he
United as
goes
well.
to
But we are
United,
not
Yeah,
going to go
I
into
didn't.
that.
I didn't want
We
to
are
open
not
that
going
can
to
of
go into
worms.
that. No,
Yeah, I
no,
didn't want
no.
to open that can of worms. So yeah.
Um, yeah. Just quick predictions for Euros. I'm not going to ask who wins it yet.
thank you.
I'm going to ask you guys, who do you think makes it into the semis?
Okay,
So,
that's fair.
Mubin, you can go first.
England, France. I'm gonna go with Germany and Italy. That will be my sort of
Yo, I feel that. I feel that right here. Feel that.
yeah.
That right here. Right
You
here.
know what? You're gonna feel it from both of us because I'm not going with that team either.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Okay. I was trying to get the Pick'ems thing online so I could like kind of know who would play each other and what's going on. But I think
No, no,
I
no.
think
I'm not asking who's going to play each other. I'm just asking for four semi-final teams. Like,
yeah,
not like
but like
one person or
like
anything like that.
two of them might be playing each other in the quarters. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So it's a bit difficult. But Portugal and France definitely. I think the two of them have too much firepower. So those two teams definitely will be there. I'll go with England because I think they'll have the easiest run to that semi-final spot. So I'll go with England, and I will go with. I really want either Belgium or Netherlands to make it. I really want one of those teams to make it. But that's in my heart, obviously. So my heart, Belgium or Netherlands, but in my head, Germany. So I think those will be those are my four. AF.
Cool. I'm going Spain, Portugal,
Uh-huh.
France, and Germany. Germany mainly for one last fairy tale run for Tony Kroos.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So hoping he has a nice send off. But yeah, if it comes to Spain versus Germany, like that fairy tale can end for Lucky. You really use Spain to win like 6 Champions Leagues. So yeah, like
Mubeen,
Spain.
quickly, you really think that you guys have a chance there? Aren't
England.
you a bit light at the back? Yeah.
No, I think we've got a fantastic chance.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. You're not a bit light at the back.
Without Harry Maguire, there's always a chance.
That's no. Actually think that's
well,
the biggest thing that's
well,
going to cost him.
yeah, I think
I
he
was making a
always has
joke because
his
of how he ended the season. Like he ended the
season. Yeah.
season in like amazing form.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think we got an amazing chance. This again, I didn't make last week's segment. Feel gutted and disappointed for a guy like Jared Brathwaite not to make the squad. I think he's
Yeah.
been
Agreed.
quite consistent and fantastic for Everton this season.
Yeah.
And he sort of covers centre back and left back. So yeah, I mean that's my only 2 cents I can say. But I think we got a fantastic chance to go all the way in this Euros. But again, like I always say, time will tell. It's a cup and anything can happen.
I like it. I like it a
Yeah.
lot. I think that
Cool.
Brentford thing is massive.
Yeah, I know. Like, but I mean, like, if he is coming to Manchester United, then maybe a summer off is going to do him great. So, yeah, I'm looking at the silver lining there.
Yeah.
But chances are that if he does come to United, they're going to pay some like 130 million or some
Yeah, that seems fair.
nonsense figure like that.
That seems fair.
But yeah, that is all we have for you today. You can find us at Sportycast on all social media platforms, on Spotify. Like this video, share this video, tell everybody about this video, tell them about our channel, spread the word about our channel. We appreciate all the support thus far. Riyaz, where can the people find you on social media?
Yeah, send this video to Hansi Flick because AF's got something to say to him. They can find me at Riyaz Barker7 on Instagram and at Barker_Riyaz on X. Come and talk to me because I don't really use it much, so I might reply, I might not. But yeah.
I think we lost Mubeen. Mubeen, are you there? No.
Mubeen didn't want. Mubeen has less social media presence than me, so he didn't want to get involved.
Yeah. I'm at AFParker642 on all social media platforms as well. Been tweeting a lot about the Cricket World Cup and going to be tweeting a lot about the Euros. But yeah, that is us for this episode. Thank you once again for tuning in. I'm AF343. Peace.